Afternoon, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Our roll call, at this time, we have 7 members present. Mr. Martin said that he would not be here, and Ms. Misker might be on her way yet, and I'll mark her when she comes in. And so we do have a quorum. Before you have the approval of April 11th meeting minutes. Is there a motion? Motion by member Schaefer. Is there a second? Second by member Barnett. Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? Motion's carried. We have no members of the public who have applied to speak today, so we'll go on to item 4, departmental matters. You have before you appointments and reappointments, and I need a motion to approve. Motion by member Solner. Is there a second? Second by member Johnston. Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion has carried. We'll go on to item C, information technologies. Mr. Nelson, welcome. We have 2 items for action. C1 is request approval of a property tax and CAMA software license, maintenance, and support agreement with DevNet. Is there a motion? Motion by member Wendt. Is there a second? Second by member Johnston. Comments or questions? Do you have anything you'd like to add to this? Regular comment.
Well, I would say that this is with DevNet, and they've been one of our best vendors that we've ever worked with, to be quite honest. We don't get nickel and dime by them for any changes. And they provided us with the CAMA portion of the software for free for 5 years and gave us a 5-year price lock. So they've been a great partner to work with.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed. Motion's carried. To request approval of proposal with Mission Critical Partners LLC for professional consulting services for court case management system implementation assistance. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by member Schaefer. Is there a second? Second by member Solner. Any comments or questions? Mr. Nelson, do you have anything you'd like to add?
This continues the effort that the board authorized earlier. We've reached the point where we selected the system and we're beginning to work on implementation. Mr. Campbell, who's been with us from the beginning on this project, we think we could use some of his advice along the way, and this will give us the ability to tap that as we go.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, sir. We'll go on to item D, Behavioral Health Coordinating Council report. Ms. Granger Belcher, Nessa, would you like to join us? Don't have any items for action. Do you have anything else you would like to add at this time?
Nothing I'd like to add. If there's any questions from our monthly reports, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay. Easy enough. Thank you. The report is on pages 55 through 73 in your packet. Go on to item E, request approval of an ordinance of the McLean County Board setting salaries of the members of the McLean County Board. Is there a motion? Motion by member Solner, second by member Erickson. Any comments or questions? Member Johnston?
Yeah, I just had a comment or question for administration. A property, and I know that property is not the only committee that's having issues with parts, I'm assuming prices are going to be going up if we see what we're seeing around the country. And I'm just wondering if it is possible. I mean, is this something that we should consider maybe delaying again for 2 years, freezing them again for 2 years? In the case we get into a budget crunch, we can't exactly take salary away, but this is something that we could potentially pause for 2 years to watch what happens with the kind of economic factors.
I would leave that at the discretion of this executive committee to decide if they would like to table those increases. There are unknowns, but I would remind you that you tabled your salaries in the last cycle. And so
I-
that's why we offered a 3% the first year and then the same flat rate for the next 3.
So at this point, you don't feel like this would be a problem for the budget coming up?
I don't feel that the amount that we allot for the county board would impact our ability to meet our budget.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed?
Nay.
We have 2 nay votes to record. Member Johnston, Member Barnett. Okay, shall we move on? Next item is F, request approval of an ordinance of the McLean County Board establishing the annual salary of the county clerk and the county treasurer, which can be found on pages 50 and 51. Is there a motion? Motion by Member Solner, second by Member Erickson. If you'll refer to page 51, you'll see there was a typo, which is, did you get a handout? from that?
Yeah, so
y'all
you should
have
have the new draft in front of you. The memo stated it correctly at 0 increase the first year, 0.5% the second year, and then 3% the third and fourth years. And so this ordinance that we just passed out reflects the proper amounts.
Member Solner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to make sure I understand. So, 2 years ago, we set the rates for the auditor and state's attorney, I believe. And so these figures are kind of in line what we did back then. Is that correct?
Yes, so my impetus for having a 0.5% in year 2 might seem a little unusual, but we went back to 2009, all the way back to 2009 to see what the percentage increases were across all of the countywide elected officials. They've had 28% increase across those 25 years. And so the calculations that we present to you today would mean to make those equal across all countywide positions.
Anyone else? Member Barnett?
I'm trying to remember, what is the current salary of these positions? Is it the 104, or excuse me,
It's so yes, so for the county clerk, it's 104,797 plus
Plus
the
the stipend.
6,500 state stipend.
okay,
Mhm.
that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Any more? All in favor, please say aye. And opposed? The motion has passed. We'll go on to item G, request approval of an ordinance of the McLean County Board establishing the salary of the McLean County Sheriff, found on pages 52 and 54. Is there a motion? Motion by Member Wentz, second by Member Schaefer. Any comments or questions? Member Solner?
So in my document, I can't seem to find an actual number somewhere, and I know it's saying that it shouldn't, it's not going to be less than 80% of the state's attorneys or whatever. Do we have an actual number somewhere that we can look at?
At this point, we do not, because we do not know what the state's attorney's salary is going to be set for future years. We get those later in the year. We estimated that it would be around 145,000 for this position, but we do not have accurate figures at this time until we know the salary for which it will be based.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions? Member Johnson?
Just a follow-up to that, do we know when we might hear from the state?
We hear at the, I believe it's August, July or
July.
August.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All in favor, please say aye. And opposed? Then the motion is passed. Item 3 on here are items for information. You can be found in your packet. Also, the information technology reports on pages 74 and 75. And we'll move on to the Finance Committee report. Chairman Metzger.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. The Finance Committee, that would be 4B1A, brings to request approval of a resolution establishing the budget policy for the fiscal year 2023, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Metzger. Is there a second? Second by Member Barnett. Are there comments or questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And the motion is carried.
Moving on, we have 4B1B, and that's request approval of a Schedule A, which is a calendar for the preparation of fiscal year 2023 budget and a 5-year capital improvement budget, and I so move.
So there's a motion by Chairman Metzger and a second by Member Johnston. Any comments or questions about the 5-year capital plan? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And the motion has passed.
And we have a number of items that will be coming to the board, and most of them, other than A, has to do with, they have to do with salaries, bringing people up to where we need them to be so we can either hire or obtain them, so. And nothing else unless somebody
Okay,
has
thank you.
questions.
Going to the report of the Health Committee, Chairman Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health Committee has no items for action today. We will have several items for the board.
Okay, thank you. Report of the Justice Committee, Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Justice Committee has one item for action, item D1A. Request approval of renewal of intergovernmental agreement between the Illinois Department of Healthcare and Family Services and McLean County Circuit Clerk, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson. Is there a second? Second by Member Johnston. Comments or questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 And opposed. And the motion has passed.
The Justice Committee has no other items for action. We do have additional items that will be presented to the board.
Thank you. We'll go on to the report of the Property Committee, Chairman Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no items for action tonight. We'll have one item for the full board on Thursday.
You have a question about property? Member Soldner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Member Barnett, I listened to the Property Committee YouTube channel, and there was some discussion on offering recycling at Cumlar Park, and that you were having an issue to find someone to do that, I guess. I spoke to Michael Brown today. Couple things. I'd asked if you remember a year or so ago, the town of Normal asked us to contribute to the solid waste recycling that they've done in several places, and my thought was there was a possibility of them either moving or adding another one somewhere else in the county or on the outskirts of the village or the city. And so I mentioned if there was a possibility of them bringing something up to Comlar Park, and he said it would probably be cost prohibitive for them to do that. He did mention, though, that I believe that there's Henson Disposal and Area both that do that throughout the county, and I was wondering whether either one of those people had been approached.
I don't believe that they have, but I think where we left it at the meeting was that staff was going to circle back with some of those other vendors and look into that possibility.
Okay, and then lastly, I didn't know whether, it's probably no way of knowing whether you expected a lot of recycling or not, or if it was a case where somebody in the park committee department, whatever, could build some kind of a receptacle and then have park members gather that. But, if we're talking about a garbage can or two, that's one thing. But if we're talking about a dumpster every week or so, then it might be a little more. But that was just a suggestion.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know that Mr. Steff, our Parks Director, because we haven't done it before, really has a good gauge of what it might be. I think mostly it would be recyclables that could be coming in from the campsites, right? They're there for the weekend, but it may be that if it works out, if we're able to find a vendor and it makes sense for everyone, it could be that we start out basic, the first year and see what happens, and then maybe make additional changes from there. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, thank
Mike.
you.
May I?
Yes.
I may suggest, I know that Hudson has recycling, and so there could potentially be the opportunity for whoever collects for Hudson could come on, could move, m- go on up to Cumlara Park potentially. The only problem I see with having recycling, and it's not that I'm opposed to recycling, but the village of Carlock had dumpsters for recycling for quite a while. Now they have individual, and they went to individual home recycling because they had so many people using the dumpsters to dump. People would just come in to the village and dump stuff off. Wouldn't, some of it was recycling, much of it was not. So there is a potential that you may have to police those dumpsters. Because when people find that there is a place to get rid of trash, instead of taking care of themselves, they look for a place. So just as a little concern, one of them is that, possibility of using the same one with Hudson if you go that direction, and the other one is just, you don't want to create additional problems for Cumlara Park. The staff there would have to become the garbage recycling police, and not necessarily something that we probably have the staff to do.
Yeah, I think those are good things to be aware of as we look at it. Thank you for mentioning that.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we'll go on the, thank you. We'll go on the report of the Land Use and Transportation Committee, Chairman Solner.
Land Use and Transportation has no items for action this evening. We do have several items that will be presented to the board, and I would be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, sir. Item G, report of our county administrator. Taylor?
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. I have 3 items to present for action this evening. The first is the continued declaration of a disaster found on pages 93 and 94.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Member Solner, second by Member Johnson. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? Motion has passed.
Thank you. Next up, you have 4G1B, request approval of a resolution by the county board approving a bid for resurface project for the Metcom parking lot. It's found on pages 95 through 97. This is coming to this committee due to the funding source, which is ARPA funds.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Member Schaefer, second by Member Barnett. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you. Last, I have G1C, request approval of a bid from Southern Mobility for purchase of a van for the nursing home. It's found on pages 98.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve? Item C. Motion by Member Metzger. Is there a second? Second by Member Johnson. Comments or questions? Member Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this a replacement, an addition, or is this the first vehicle that the nursing home has purchased?
This is a replacement vehicle. They have been limping by with the one that they have that is quite aged and is not meeting the needs. So this is going to be considered a replacement, and is using ARPA funds, was also budgeted in our capital improvement plan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Member Johnson.
Has anybody gone out on a test ride in this thing? Because years ago when we did the tour for the projects, for the road projects, we had taken the nursing home van, and I have to say my back hurt for a couple days after that. So I was just curious if this is something that we've been in, if we're aware of how comfortable it is.
Was this the van that we were in last year, or was
No.
it prior to that?
This would have been 2018 that I went.
No, I have not taken a test drive. I'm not aware if Mr. Wiley has done so.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because if my back was hurting after being in it for a couple hours, I can't imagine people from the nursing
This an
home
additional van?
feeling comfortable.
This an additional?
It's a
van?
replacement.
It's a replacement, so,
Mhm.
Yeah. So hopefully it's in much better
So-
condition,
well,
It's newer.
yeah,
more
okay.
comfortable. Just want to make sure we're looking out for our residents and that they're
Sure.
comfortable being transported. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All in favor of item C, please say aye. And opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you.
I have no items to be presented to the board. I do have an item to present this evening for information. We have begun our compensation study with Evergreen. Rob and Peter were here all day meeting with different department heads and staff. And they have another day planned for tomorrow. And so I thought this would be a good time to roll out our dashboard of the first quarter of 2022, just to give you an indication as you're seeing more and more requests for reclassifications or salary considerations. You can see that our end of quarter headcount is at 772. That is low. That's usually in the 800s. We have lists there, our turnover percentage and hires and terminations. That would be only for the first 3 months of 2022. I would turn your attention to the second column where it says active online job postings. We currently have 41 job postings. Those are types of jobs, but that reflects 74 total vacancies in our positions. And then it gives you more detail at the bottom of what departments those job postings are relevant for. We have been, 2022, we reinstated the merit increases for staff. And so payroll has been busy with making those changes. And so special thanks to HR, to Amy and Rachel, and also to Brenda Jones in the Treasurer's Department for all of her work with those payroll changes.
Okay,
And I will, after the meeting, look for any feedback. If you find this type of report helpful, I can continue to provide this information on a quarterly basis.
thank you. I think it will be. Thank you very much. We'll move on. Anybody else have any other business or communication? If not, I have bills to pay in the amount of our general fund and Veterans Assistance Veterans Assistance. Shared sales tax and American Rescue Plan amount is $534,623.38. And in addition, we have our usual regional planning budget amount of $38,020.12. Is there a motion to approve the bills? Motion by Member Metzger. Is there a second? One wants to pay. Second by Member Solder. Any comments about the bills? All in favor, please say aye. And opposed? And motion is carried. And that will take care of our meeting tonight. And we are adjourned.